My name is Coach Brian Prana. I've been a health coach for what's been like 20 years. I have an exercise degree. I've been a personal trainer. I've owned gyms. I've been a health coach, remote nutrition coach, and been doing that specifically for the last 8 years. I work with everyday people, help solve everyday issues around their health, around weight loss, around disease or illness. Diabetes is unfortunately on the rise. I have a lot of diabetic clients that I help manage their weight as well. And today we're going to realize resilience and what that actually means to you and how we push past some of the challenges that life has for us on a day-to-day basis. That's just what life has for us. So I'm sharing my screen and off we go. So excited to have you all. The chat is open. Please, or Q&A, whichever one ends up. I will be checking that periodically, so I definitely want you to engage with me. Crowd participation is highly encouraged. You'll get way more out of this as well if you do. All right? You can kind of work on your specific situations or life or whatnot. So today, in realizing resiliency, what is resilience in the first place? The more of the agenda, we're going to go over the health benefits of pushing through stressful situations, mastering mindset, roads to resilience, and being able to bounce back better. As a health professional, when life knocks you down, do a burpee, and then you get right back up on your feet. It works just like that. So what is resilience? It's a process and outcome of successfully adapting to difficult or challenging life experiences, especially through mental, emotional, behavioral flexibility and adjustment to external and internal demands. What does that mean? Okay, it's your ability mentally, emotionally, physically to overcome the challenges that life has for you on a day-to-day basis. Now, I'm 41. I have 4 kids. I'm self-employed for the baker's dozen. My wife is self-employed. So there's constantly something on the schedule, something pulling attention, something needs money, time. All these things are showing up. And my ability to be able to manage those situations creates my resilience and the ability for things to ideally bounce off of me. Now, certainly we have external demands that are coming from the outside in. External stressors, a lot of things that I just said, like time, money, bills, the weather, whatever. But we have a lot of internal demands too. What's between your ears and what you think about how you process situations, how you cope. Do you have coping mechanisms and strategies? Are you able to find resources to be able to get out of the situations that you have been put in? How you view the world and engage with it on an everyday basis comes down to your ability to resilience. Okay? Yeah. If you look at, rewind, 500 or even 5,000 years, survival of the fittest, right? There's always something trying to kill you, whether it's an animal, a disease, virus, insects, whatever. There's something that's on the hunt for you and our ability to do that. Now, in our modern day lifestyle and the convenience of living, we certainly don't have those pressures as much. I was in Africa about 6 weeks ago on safari. So yes, there was not only lions and rhinos and giant herds of water buffalo or whatever that were interested in a tasty treat if possible, but also yellow fever. So we had to get shots for that to be able to overcome that. So we did those things, and we stayed a safe distance from hungry lions. And a lot more importantly, lionesses, because we saw way more of them hunting than the gentlemen. They were just sleeping under trees. Now, what are different types of stress? Well, we have the acute, that's something like right now or at a specific event. It's isolated to that. So an acute stressor could be getting in a car accident, falling down. It could be a bill that showed up at your in the mail. It could be planning for an event, a wedding, a birthday party. Not only do I have this weekend my anniversary, 18 years, yay, but I also have my daughter's 9th birthday on Sunday, and then my son's 11th birthday on the 21st, amongst like 8 other things on the schedule, from soccer and dances and all these school end stuff. If you're a parent and you have kids in school, you know what I mean. There's a lot of external stressors coming in, and my internal ability to manage that is how I can then not get wrapped up in it and just not be productive or waste time or whatever happens. Now, the opposite side of that is chronic. So we have something acute is right now, but chronic is this constant feeling of pressure, overwhelm, long periods. It could be a chronic illness. There could be an underlying relationship conflict in your partnership, or even with your kids. A good example, my first and third kind of create some friction. And so the last couple of years, we constantly have to deal with big brother and little brother kind of doing the brotherly thing, trying to find their place in a family with 4 kids. There's a lot of other examples too. I'm sure that you understand chronic. I've worked with clients that have such tight schedules that they do not have good work-life balance. They do not have lots of time to actually care for their self-needs, like their health or their body weight or their movement. And we have to get a bit more creative. So that's a chronic state of being overwhelmed with just not having any time because of the demands on their life. What are sources of resilience? So we have biological, personality, and environmental. So with biological, it's like your like DNA in a sense, gene expression. Like some people are type A, that's in the personality, excuse me. But gene expression is your abilities, your body's coping mechanisms on a ancestral level, your stress response and how that is like embedded in you. Some people can see a challenge and just go jumping all in. Others, they have other ways to cope and manage external stress. When times get challenging, do you get sick or not? If so, there might be a little bit of a resiliency issue that you can try and figure out, whether it's sleeping more, getting more physical activity in your life, eating healthier, better foods to help give you more nourishment. Those are all things that you can do for improving your hormonal response, and certainly many others. Personality, just certain traits. We have like type A, type B type people, go with the flow, by the rules, strict, funny and always joking around. So we have this internal locus of control. It's your abilities in your brain to be able to control the situations and how to manage those at any one time. We have mastery. Of course, the more that you are in a situation, then the more comfortable you can manage it. Okay, so say you have to run month-end numbers at work. The first 1 or 3 times, it's a little bit stressful. Did I do this right? But like 50 times later, because you've worked at this place, it's just another task that needs done, and it's really not that big of a deal. Your self-esteem, it ranges. Humans are individual people, and they are more confident in certain areas of their life and maybe not as confident in others. Knowing this and knowing your personality is critical to making sure you are able to show up specifically with what's going to serve you best, to be as resilient as you can to the situations at hand. If you know that you're in a weakened state or weakened position in certain situations, you can do some preparation work. You can do some planning. You can find coping mechanisms to manage your reaction, your body's reaction, and the outcome of that situation. Optimism. I'm a half glass full type guy. Sun's always shining, even if it's cloudy. And so optimistic is a key trait to just living a healthier, happier life. And you'll naturally be more resilient because things can roll off your shoulder a little bit more. We have environmental. So sources of resiliency here: social support, family, friends, professional help, professional services. I support people in their health, their nutrition, their fitness, their lifestyle, their time and stress management, because those are the things that at the bottom line, at the end of the day, make someone's lifestyle, someone's health better. So I manage a lot of that. There's a lot of other opportunities as well. It's like sports or art, lots of different ways to get that out and to manage stress, whether you're playing a pickup league of basketball, or you're going on a 5K run with a running group, or you're going to a paint class, some wine and painting, or you're going to an art festival or that has like music and dance and a lot of things there. So there's a lot of situations we can improve upon. Now, if you look at this, we have a homeostasis and our ability to balance everything. And the more that the risk factors get out of play, then the more challenging life can become, right? The stressors like the worse health you're in, if you have loss, whether it's a family, a friend, a financial loss, there's divorce, infertility, infidelity, natural disasters, bullying, war, trauma, all sorts of different negative life events are stressors that increase your risk factors and your ability to deal with and thrive after those stressors happen. So like PTSD, we obviously, that's been more popularized clearly from like the 90s on with war and soldiers coming back having this post-traumatic stress disorder, right? Because they experienced trauma and now they're trying to seek out help to get and manage the trauma so it doesn't negatively impact their life. And their ability to manage these risk factors and the after the event ability to cope and thrive is get you back to homeostasis and your ability to thrive. Resiliency factors. Now, the more of these that you have, the faster, easier it'll be to get back to that homeostasis, a normal everyday lifestyle. Protective factors. Just having like family, having friends, having social support, having a counselor, having someone that is there to help you connect, because humans are socially connected with each other. And in isolation, we know that the greatest form of punishment for any human being is extended solitary confinement. We've seen studies on that. It really does a negative number on human beings because we are social creatures. So we have to have that bond and connection with those that are around us and people we obviously like, and we want to surround ourselves with more. There's likable personalities and characters in your life and less around those that you have friction with. You do not have to be around a neighbor. You could move at a work situation. You could quit and get another job. You could start your own thing. There's so many ways to manage some of what can sometimes be deemed as toxic relationships in a good way. Like you could just literally stop talking to your family member, whoever might be challenging or creating that friction on a regular basis. So other resiliency factors to be able to get us back to homeostasis. We have obviously your self-esteem. The higher it is, the easier it is to get back. Coping skills, different ways that you go about managing it. Simple ones off the top of my head. Journaling, being mindful and meditate, getting out and exercise and moving your body to help alleviate some of the stress. All those things really help. So they help us move toward homeostasis if we're paying attention to them. So we have two different images here. One is someone's holding the light bulb, and another one's curled up in the fetal position, basically. And there's a word bubble with scribbles, right? There's a lot of not good happening there, and not a lot of positivity. Light bulb moment. Make realistic plans and stick to them. One of the things I constantly say to people is your ability to trust yourself and do the things you know you should be doing helps with your self-esteem, helps with building resilience, helps with an acute stress response not becoming a chronic stress response. You're able to manage your emotions a lot better, and you can see yourself, as it says, a fighter, someone that can manage and overcome the situation. Whereas on the flip side of the coin, struggles to recover from setbacks, uses unhealthy coping mechanisms, views self as a victim. Those are situations we're going to do our best to avoid. Now we have a study here, NHRV. So what we have in this situation is a significant minority of veterans screened positive for mental disorders. The majority of them were psychologically resilient. Okay, and now what we mean is that they were able to, the veterans who rated themselves higher on perceived ability to handle difficulties, demonstrated more post-traumatic growth and less severity in instances of PTSD. Now, with that, what we have is if they stepped up and they viewed themselves as with higher self-esteem, higher ability to cope, then the PTSD wasn't as severe for them, which is great, right? We don't, thank them for their service for our country, but we don't want them to have to live a life that is full of post-traumatic stress and really sacrifice what happens after their service. It's just not great. So it's okay to not be okay. Something that's just a good reminder. You can have feelings. You don't have to tuck it under the rug, sweep it away, brush it off. You're allowed to have feelings and allowed to have a range of motion because that's what humans do. Your ability to express that is even more important then, so that you get a positive resolution to that experience. So common response to adversity is some decline followed by an increase back to baseline, right? We can get sad or mad or frustrated or have a situation that comes in and causes us to dip in energy, dip in ability. Our resilience goes down. But the more coping mechanisms and ability to manage stress and the more rested and all these things allows us to get back to our baseline normal personality. So we've all had tiffs with our loved ones and such, and the stronger that bond is between you and that other person, the sooner, faster, easier it gets to become back to the normal, hopefully improved relationship and not just the next thing to challenge and wait for a ticking time bomb to go off. Now, when you have resilience, it actually gives you power to tackle these problems and head on. You don't have to have a pity party. You don't have to delay. You don't have to spend days or weeks or months being upset and mad with people. You can just step in and have a conversation and allow them you to be able to express your feelings. You use I feel statements, right? Not you do this statements. So that will never win for you, I promise. I start with self-compassion and then ask for help when needed. So if you need, you always have grace with yourself. If I'm working with someone and they have a challenging situation, that's the first place I go. I don't go, hey, why did you do this, that? Why do you eat a whole pizza? Or go to food to solve their stress situations. No. I start with self-compassion and make sure that they feel better about themselves to move forward. So I'd love some engagement here. Hit up the chat Q&A. What holds you back when it comes to resiliency? And I believe there's an anonymous thing that you can do as well, post, or just direct me, send it straight to me as well. What are some things that hold you back, and what keeps you pushing forward? Either answer, would love to see that. For me, my time management are some of the things that hold me back. Having 4 kids, being self-employed, again, my wife, self-employed, managing all the daily activities can be challenging, and I prioritize certain things over others. And so some of those other things that I don't prioritize can then hold me back. That can slow down progress. I can be slow to making decisions. Whereas in another situation, like say exercise, like after we're done, I'm going to work out. I am quick to exercise. I am quick to get my friend to come over and we work out. I'm in my barn right now, and we're going to work out here after we're done. And so this ends up like that's a high priority for me to do, but like doing my taxes, because it's on extension, I'm a little slow to do. I don't know what I'm doing. I see it as painful, as challenging, as taking time away from my everyday life, right? If we could just live and not have to do taxes, that'd be amazing, right? So, but then you wouldn't have roads to drive on. You wouldn't have like schools to drop your kids off. You wouldn't have all the other things that they're intentionally supposed to be doing. I got praying. That's excellent. I have another one. What keeps pushing forward is like connecting with their spouse at night on a walk with their dog. That's a great way to connect and spend time together rather than just staring at a TV. Yet another screen in your life. Humans don't really need more screen time in their life. All right. Thank you for that. Those are the couple people that mentioned stuff. So again, keep hitting me up throughout this. Love to engage. Health benefits. Obviously, if you can manage stress in your life, you're likely to live longer. Chronic stress is associated with so many not good situations. Blood pressure, poor food choices can lead to cholesterol, can lead to heart disease, indigestion, insomnia. You just don't sleep because your mind is constantly wandering and worrying about all the things that you don't really have control over, especially at 2 or 3 in the morning. Right? That is not a time to turn on your worry machine because you can't do anything about it anyways. Right? Nothing's going to happen. Resilience significantly contributes to longevity at all ages. You'll just have a more fulfilled life. It helps improve mental health, buffers against anxiety, depression, and how we get through those challenges we've been hinting at it, but your self-awareness first step. If you're able to be aware when things start to turn down, when your energy's going down, when there's conflict coming and you're about to go into an anxious or depressed or a whatever other fill-in-the-blank situation, then if you can get back on track, that will help curb the situation and get you balanced out. And then that's on your ability for the coping skills. There's so many different ways to cope with humans, from professional treatment, therapy, and such, to following along with your favorite YouTube influencer and going through some of their mindset work that they've mastered throughout the years, managing their human condition and situation. Optimism, we talked about that, just wearing a smile. Like if you always saw yourself with a smile and the people around you that always saw yourself with a smile, there's natural energy immediately. I'll walk with my dog with my wife and we'll talk, and when we pass by people like who are coming at us, we're passing them, always smiling, always trying to engage to help people smile, help people feel better. Okay, that self-regulation goes into all this, be able to calm down, step away from the situation. being able to positively communicate the things that you are feeling in a way that doesn't cause more friction or more challenge can be a really helpful strategy as well. Or at least have a cool off time with a safe person to then go manage that situation differently then. Supports life satisfaction. Of course, if you're resilient, things can just roll off your shoulders. I talked to a gentleman today. He's in Tampa Bay. He owns a lawn care business that does work for the city of Tampa. Big commercial type, has too many vehicles. I don't even know how many lawn mowers, like big old zero turns, a lot of staff. And there's always a fire in that guy's house, in a sense, that he has to put out. Now, the first time he hit those situations like, hey, my insurance is going to go up, or hey, I got dropped with a large tax bill, or hey, one of my trucks broke down, or hey, I've got like 3 people asking for money. Hey, 2 people called off today. Those would be big challenges. He's been doing this for like a decade. So these are just everyday parts of business that he can expect on a certain level and do his best to work away from, so that the business doesn't bring a lot of stress, but it brings a lifestyle. There's always going to be challenges when you take things on. I always say this, there's a pay to play in life. If you want to have a really thrilling life, you're going to have to pay a little bit. Obviously, money, right? You need money to do things, what you want. But again, the ability to figure it out, the ability to make things happen, the ability to manifest what it is that you want, and set strong goals and move toward them. And being resilient at whatever gets away. When a hurdle shows up, we're either going to hurdle it and jump over, or we're just going to walk around the hurdle as well. So we'll move on. Mastering the mindset between your ears is most important. You got to be flexible, right? Life, people's personalities, their timelines, their stress management skills, their ability to manage projects or deadlines themselves can cause some challenges for you. So simple things to say to yourself when something unexpected comes, because chances are either today, tomorrow, by the end of the week, something challenging is going to show up on your doorstep, and you're like, this too shall pass. I can do hard things. It's okay to take risks. That's how I learn. I have what I need to get through this. That's super important. That's a very incredibly important point for me as a coach, to help people realize they already have the answers. I just have to help them see it in a clear enough way and understand a clear enough path to apply it to their everyday. And at the end of the day, all I can do is my best. Exactly. You're a human being. Not every day is going to be perfect. Not every emotion, not every action, none of this stuff's always going to be perfect. But your ability to just, like, when life knocks you over, do a burpee to get back up. And you'll stay flexible and you'll bend rather than break. Regain control. We have Outlook 1 and Outlook 2. Outlook 1, you have little control over your life and what happens to you. People rarely get what they deserve. It isn't worth setting goals or making plans because many things can happen that are outside my control. Life is a game of chance. That's Outlook 1. Is that a bit more of an optimistic or a pessimistic view of life? Put it in the chat. Would love to see your answer on Outlook number 1. Now, Outlook number 2, personal actions, attitude, effort play a role in determining outcomes. In the long run, people tend to get what they deserve, or even better said, tend to get what they want. If you work hard and commit yourself to a goal, you can achieve anything. Luck has nothing to do with success. It's mostly a matter of dedication, focus, effort, and I'll add another one in there, consistency. I can't tell you how often that as soon as I get someone to align with their nutrition, their health, their fitness, and what their goals are and start making progress, I constantly have to remind them to be consistent. That's it. We're going to do the same things over and over and do them well and the best that you can in your everyday life. So obviously, outlook number 1 is a little more on the pessimistic side. Outlook number 2, more on the optimistic side. I clearly and most definitely look and work in that outlook number 2, and I hope that you do too. I have a lot of people chatting me that they too are number 2s, and that's excellent, because if you're on these other people, if you're on their team with all these people in our Zoom meeting here, that's great to know that the person next to you wears a smile on their face, does the best they can, looking for ways to innovate, looking for ways to create opportunity and manage and figure something out. Next, we've got resilience in chronic pain study. Resilient individuals experience high levels of pain severity, but low levels of emotional burden and pain-related dysfunction. So if they were a resilient person that had all the things, optimism, coping. I have a lady right now that I actually work with. She has gone through throat cancer. We constantly laugh. We constantly talk. We constantly go over the positive things in her life to reinforce what she's here for and why she needs to keep living and not just like woe to me type of attitude. Using pain coping strategies and adopt a more adaptive attitude towards pain. Of course, right? We want to make sure like if meditation or some form of some body work can help minimize the pain or reduce it, that's incredibly beneficial. Engage in benefit finding, lowering physiological arousal and inflammation response. So what that means is if you're always seeking out what are the benefits to me or finding the benefits of the situation or looking for opportunities, then your body is going to round down on the arousal, round down on the inflammatory response, round down on the body's response to the situation. Finding a purpose. If you have pain and you have a difficult situation, if you find the purpose of what's going on, it causes you to reflect in new ways and make different decisions that can change your life, change your choices, change your direction. Deepen your compassion and empathy for others. Right? You can connect and bond with others, especially if they've gone through some challenges themselves. Right? Every single person is going to go through challenges. It's just how you square up to them and make a difference is what matters. Awaken gratitude and appreciation for what you have. No matter where you think your life is or isn't right now, I guarantee someone 5,000 years ago would more than happy trade you for at the very least the comforts of our modern day society, right? I mean, I'm talking you through like metal and something flying around in the sky, right? So like that's the communication of it. The last year I've been in 4 different international destinations: Africa, Costa Rica, Finland, and London. You would have been like royalty to be able to visit some of those places if it was like 1,000 years ago. It wasn't just like everyday people were doing that stuff. And so the accessibility and everything is so fabulous to do that. And I'm doing it with my 4 kids, primarily my wife. She loves travel, and I am so appreciative of the experiences she's created for us. Move you to act and confront injustice. Right? You shouldn't put up with things that aren't right, that aren't correct, that don't serve you or serve other people around you. Inspire you to seek healthier habits and relationships. So once you find purpose and you find direction and you have a heading and you have the destination where you want to go and you start finding better ways to get there and you start working through different habits and replacing behaviors with better ones and then connecting with better people to help encourage you to make better choices in your life to find your purpose, find a healthier, better, more enjoyable life. A relationship, my workout buddies coming over. We have both fathers of 4. We have businesses. We have a lot in common. He has 2 daughters, right around my 1 daughter's age. There's a lot of connection, and we find our relationship is through physical exercise. So he'll come over and we'll work out, and then we have time to bond and time to work and move our bodies, and that helps me work on myself and like the physicality of it to then be able to have the energy and the attitude and the leadership to take and help other people. We want you to see the big picture. Society and culture hyper-focus on outcomes and results, right? Just look at social media. It's a highlight reel. Nobody's putting up their deep, dark secrets. I mean, if they do, it's quite a show if someone's living their whole life out there. But in general, you're only seeing the best. You're not seeing the worst. And so what we always want to do, regardless of what the outcome is, we want to be focuses on the process. So that a process-oriented thinking views the journey as the destination, right? Life is a journey, not a destination. I'm pretty sure that's Aerosmith. Correct me if I'm wrong. So, but life's a journey. And if you experience life as a journey and not as the destination, then you will know that it's going to ebb and flow. And so we can step out of this acute, stressful situation and look at the bigger picture of all the gratitude and the things you have and the positivity of what that can bring for your life. Because life is a long game. Self-care is essential, right? You got to play the long ball. Fad diets do not do that, right? Obsessing over something and super hyper focus, not it. All in mentality, not it. Not one person I've ever worked with for 2 decades have I ever taken this all or nothing type approach. It's a middle gear approach, knowing that we need to have a daily sustainable habits, behaviors to create consistent outcomes every day to then be able to allow you to make progress over the time. Taking care of your needs, your body needs, your everything from that. Being outdoors, have non-doing time, meaning like not being so structured that you don't have any time to connect or to, most importantly, yourself, but others. And then laugh, right? We do need to laugh. We need to smile. We need to have energy to be able to live that way. Roads to resilience. Develop competence is one way to be more resilient. Your ability or know-how to handle situations effectively. I've been going through a lot of sales training lately, and there's so many new rocks to uncover in the learning that I'm doing that I'm becoming a better person to handle these situations that show up, and also, even more importantly, prevent them. Right? My job is to help someone else understand the importance of taking action for, most importantly, themselves, and make sure that then, secondly, that I can help them specifically. Trust your judgment, making responsible choices and facing difficult situations. So things that you can practice to help you trust yourself more, be more responsible in your choices, step up to those difficult situations, have positive self-talk. But it takes like 10 positive phrases to outweigh 1 negative. That's true. And humans round negative. Look at your local evening news or news in general. It's always negative situations that are showing up. Celebrating successes, not only your successes, but other people around you. When we cheers to that type mentality, then things can just go better. All my phone calls with my clients all over the U.S., I always open up with successes first. What are you doing that is creating a positive situation in your life? That's important. Observe others and what they do. You're always looking for those that you have as, say, role models. It could be a family member. It could be an external influencer. It could be a named figure or something. These are things that you want to observe and notice. What are they doing? How do I start doing a little bit of what they're doing more the way I want to do it? So strive for progress, not perfection. You're a human. You're not going to be perfect, guaranteed. So don't worry about being perfect. Just try not to mess up too much, too frequently, too hard. Boosting confidence. Believe in positive regard for oneself, the willingness to act accordingly, and how you do that is through taking care of your body. That's the temple that you're living in. If you don't see yourself in the mirror from the first thing you wake up and you don't like what you see, take better care of yourself. Okay? Make healthier choices. Drink more water. Get to bed earlier. Manage your time better so you can go on walks and move. We want to nix comparisons. Go back to like that social media thing. It's a highlight reel. We don't want to compare ourselves to others. We want to compare ourselves to ourselves. That's the most important spot here. Surround yourself with support and face your fears. So you have the right people around you to be able to go do bigger things and not let anything hold you back. Strengthen character. Discipline to live honestly, with integrity and alignment in your values. So we practice humility. We're intentional. We stay disciplined. We hold ourselves accountable. These are things, not whether it's with yourself or find someone or somebody or something, like even your phone can help create accountability. There's so many apps out there that can help you with tracking behaviors and stuff. But having intentions, writing them down, following through on doing the things that you know you should be doing creates trust, creates impact in your life, and then can help better someone else's as well. Prioritize connection. Good social relationships reduce stress, combat loneliness, isolation, and make you feel accepted, right? And having relationships, having friendships around people that you enjoy, or even like animals and stuff, is so important to create that bonding. I have a giant Newfoundland. He's 2. He's the biggest baby ever. He's got the moo cow print, brown and white. He's not like he doesn't look like a black or a brown bear. But he's got this, and he brings a lot of joy to me, my family, my wife, but also like people around. When we're out walking them and stuff, they just kind of smile like, "Ooh, who's this guy? Who's this giant animal here? It looks like he's like a lion. He's so big." But it's great because then it helps create connection with someone else and helps reduce stress. And as soon as they realize he's not going to eat them, then they start petting, and he just loves it. He tries to do all his tricks and tries to shake and all those fun things. So we want to stay connected, respect differences, right? Everyone has different experience in life, and that those experiences create who they are. So we want to make sure that we're looking behind the scenes or understand where people are coming from, so it's easier to respect them. Communicating is more effective, efficient than ever. One of the next calls that I'm going to have is a lady who's in France. Do you know why she's in France? Because she's in Paris. What's in Paris? Coming very soon, the Olympics. She is an Olympian from the Beijing Olympics, and she's back again for round 2 in the Paris. She's a kayaker. So Sophia, she and I are going to be talking and communicating about what's important in her life around staying connected with nutrition and taking care of herself, regardless of being, she's been in like 8 different spots since I spoke her last, and probably 8 different time zones too. So we're constantly managing what she eats and how it's going to work to help improve her body, her performance. And it's just really cool, and I'm very proud of her for being able to manage all the challenging situation that she's in. Lastly, pay it forward. Always put things moving forward in your life to help benefit others. So we have 4 people saying word cloud. So number 1, I'm feeling upset right now. Would you be willing to talk to me on the phone about what I'm going through? Great way to open up the conversation to express your feelings so that you can then talk through what's going on. Number 2, I think I want to try to do therapy. Do you have any resources or advice you can share with me? Excellent. Lots of ways to then take that next step to find professional help to help you manage your situation. I'm worried about my mental health and what I've been trying isn't enough. Can we talk through some better options together, right? Connecting and sharing and empathizing with the other person can really help open them up, and whatever the situation that they're experiencing lessens. Number 4, I'm going through something difficult, but I'm not ready to talk about it. Can you help distract me right now? Well, obviously, we're not going to pry into whatever's going on, because at some point, if you do a great job distracting them, they're going to open up anyways because they trust you. They'll come to you time and again, and that's something really important in relationships, especially close ones to you. So we have Rain, practice coping. R is recognize what is happening. A, allow the experience to be there just as it is. Don't need to put judgment on it. I, investigate with kindness. What's going on here? And understand, and with an open heart. N, non-identify with the experience. So you want to be able to, if you can do like say third person type situation to help you manage what is happening and in that experience to have a better understanding, that's super helpful. So I do this a lot in my practice with helping people recognize what's happening. I understand someone's not in good health, whether they're weight or illness. Allow the experience to be just as it is. There's no judgment. I'm just open. I need to just understand what they're doing. I ask a lot of positive questions that open them up to understand and investigate what the situations are, how to problem solve, and then non-identify with the experience. Being a third party, I can come in and observationally look and come up with a plan that might help them be better off. So here's a number. I'll only read a couple of them. Exercise, of course, taking some deep breaths, writing, talking to someone, being outside in nature. What do we have? Visualizing yourself, calming down. Get out in the sun. Sunshine can always put a smile on your face. Dance. Okay? So let's chat. Love to see this in the chat here. What's one new strategy you learned that you will build to build resilience in your week this week? So hit me up with it. Love to see it in the chat or Q&A. And if you need, we can go back. For me, managing my taxes, I'm going to make sure that I'm setting aside time, because if it doesn't get scheduled, it doesn't get done. The work that I need to do isn't hard. It's just there's a lot of it to categorize and all those fun things that we have to do in QuickBooks or whatever. So those are challenges that I need. But I'm going to make sure I'm regularly exercising. I am going to make sure that I am taking care of myself so that I have energy to do the things that I need to do, and I'm not worn down or tired or overwhelmed from all the other things in my life. Make time for community, and with that, I would love to hear who community is for you. Is that like anyone out on the street, or is that like someone special there? So getting outdoors, the weather's definitely better. So I have clients, I live near Cleveland, Ohio, Akron specifically, but I have clients in Florida, and they're already complaining about it being too hot outside. So it's pretty funny. I work with SPAN and wondering how many people are on. We've got about 6 total in this group right now. So, friends, thank you for the clarify what community is. Friends, homebound friends, people close in your circle of trust. So I appreciate that quite a bit. So excellent. And bouncing back. Let's wrap up with this last chunk here. So bouncing back, what does that mean? We need to brainstorm, we need to organize, review, and set. So we want to get curious. Identify your strengths of what you're good at, what you're not. If you know those strengths and weaknesses, you can plan for them. What do you like about yourself? If you have an ongoing list of the things that you like so much, then you are going to kick butt, take names, and feel so connected with yourself and with others. Clarify values. What brings you joy? Right? Joy is a powerful word in my house. That's why we travel so much. It brings my wife joy, and it creates connection between my kids. And we have so many bonded memories from traveling so much that for decades to come, I'm going to be able to reference those with my family and stay connected through those experiences. What do you stand for? Having a strong motto and declaration of who you are as a person is really helpful to keep you on track and manage and bounce back from challenges that life is always going to throw at you. What do you feel? When do you feel most alive? Identifying, again, joy or with the things that you do. If you're waking up and your flame inside is dwindling, you're not doing the things that you should be called to be doing in this life. And you need to find something else that you wake up and shoot out of bed. Doesn't matter how much or how little sleep I got last night. I'm going to show up like this anyways. That's because this is something I really am passionate about. I really enjoy. And I get to talk to people every day that want to talk to me about self-improvement, about bettering themselves. It's so fun. Then understanding your why. Why do you get up in the morning? Now, so we have the power of storytelling. What is your story? And some people, it's like in the weight loss story. What's my story? I lost 100 pounds. I lost 50 pounds. I lost. They're always I lost. But one thing that I always coach people on is what will your story be? Yes, this is the season and phase of life that we're in right now, and we need to lose the weight. But you shouldn't be anchoring the rest of your life on this. Oh, look at me, I lost 40 pounds. What are you doing moving forward that is putting you in a better spot in your life? And that's the identity that you want to step into, not this person that overcame something 10 years ago. That's great. I'm happy for you, but what are we doing now today, or what are you working towards? Journaling activity. So writing to yourself, just writing, period, getting your words in your brain out on paper, such a great learning experience. There's a number of different thoughts too, right? To be honest, if you just sit down and let yourself write, you might be surprised at what comes out on paper. So our conclusion here, as we wrap at the top of the hour, is resilience is the process of adapting well in face of adversity, trauma, tragedy, threats, and significant sources of stress. Stress is coming your way, I promise you. Increasing longevity, improving mental health, and support that supports life satisfaction are the things you should be working towards and then bringing into your life. So you always wear a smile and you're optimistic. Sustain through goal setting. If you have powerful goals and you have a destination, then you can go move that way. Lean into your strengths, understand your weaknesses, and improve those so you become a better balanced person. Understand what your values are and purpose. Constantly work to improve those and be able to tell a better story as life moves forward. I want to thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate your time. Realizing resilience. I hope that you are even more resilient than you were when we first started here. So thank you so much for your time.